correct. Okay, they are actually correct. Okay, cool. I was like, I probably should have checked my audio before I started stream, but everything's working perfectly. All right, so welcome back to another stream. We have a couple tornado warnings going on in Kentucky. We had this cell that we actually had this cell that was warned earlier. I can actually go back to that real quick. Let me go back, like way back. And you see from earlier, which was at around 5:10, we did have actually rotation near the radar station, and then that area rotation ended up recycling over here, just west of Calvert City there in Kentucky. And then there was this cell here that was near Metropolis, west of Metropolis. See your air rotation, it was just north of Calvin. Looked like it was a bit stronger here. It was between New Liberty Church Road and Bethel Church Road there. Looking at latest scans, not seeing a whole lot, but I mean, we are kind of close to radar, but even looking at reflectivity presentation, it doesn't look like a whole lot, so they'll probably let this expire out, which there is 3 minutes left on this tornado warning, so that is probably the more likely situation where they'll end up canceling out, or not canceling out, but letting the tornado warning expire out. And there's also a few things I do want to talk about as well, which I'll do in a second here. I just need to get to my YouTube studio. Let's see. All right, that, and that. I also need to. Forgot to put a space between Kentucky and. Because apparently I have the world's most amazing keyboard skills. It's totally. That is a little interesting thing I am noticing. I do wonder if this is outflow from the storms here. That this is trying to adjust at least. Because there is, if we go over to the mesoanalysis, this is one of the things I did want to talk about here. So here's the mesoanalysis. We are in a area, which, I mean, it's not a ton of low shear, but there is enough shear to get spinning storms. And then if we look at your instability, there's, I mean, there's, let me look at, is there cloud cover? Yeah, there's cloud cover. And then also probably storm showers that have probably gone through earlier that kind of stabilized the atmosphere there. But otherwise, for the most part, I think in terms of our tornado threat, we're probably going to see rotating storms down here in Kentucky. There was a 5% goes down here to Tennessee, actually, which let me show you the categorical for today, which we have enhanced risk out there for today. Our highest risk area is up here between the Dakotas, between South and North Dakota, with our 10% with Sig 1, which does extend with the 5% with Sig 1, but our main threat for today with the tornado threat is up here in Dakotas. And then we have this 5% that I mentioned here between Kentucky and Tennessee. And then we have a 15% goes all the way to here in Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee, all the way to the Carolinas, which we did have some severe storms earlier here in the Carolinas. There's this severe dust watch still going on, but for most of our storms, they're out over here along the coast now. So that'll be the main focus for our severe weather threat, which there's not any severe dust warnings on these, but there are special marine warnings, which is kind of like I want to say kind of like a severe dust warning for storms, but generally that's for, actually no, yeah, actually I would say that's kind of like a severe dust warning, and kind of in a way for storms if they're producing damaging wind gusts, hail, like tornadoes, which a tornado over water is considered a water spout. Interesting. Okay, there's a tornado part. And that is going to be... Oh, the report was just northeast of Gilbertsville in Kentucky here. Also, another thing I think I fixed as well. I think I finally fixed my chroma key, but also found the perfect settings, hopefully, to not have green reflect onto my face and then green scare me out, but we'll find out soon. And then there's also this mesoscale discussion up here, which was issued a little bit ago. And risk for large hail potential for a couple of strong tornadoes is probably highest between now and 6 to 7 Mountain Daylight Time, which is 7 to 8 p.m. Central. So within the next couple hours or so, we'll start seeing our strong tornado threat potentially. Which there was an area I was looking at earlier over in Montana, which is this right here. Which they didn't tornado warn or anything, which is mainly because the radar site's down here, near east of Rapid City. Technically, it's over in New Underwood, South Dakota, and then your rotation's all the way out here, which is like kind of eyeball this real quick, if possible. That's 126 miles from the radar site, which is pretty far, and you're scanning in the higher levels compared to lower levels because their beam goes up instead of like side, and also, I mean, you do have Earth's curvature, so there's that too. Hello, welcome. Magnitude 6.1 earthquake struck Afghanistan today. I will say there's well, I know there's earthquakes every day, but there's definitely been some strong magnitude earthquakes in quite a few places lately. It looks like. And then while we're at it, talk about tropical weather type of stuff. Which there is currently a 20% out there in the southeast coast, southeast of the Carolina and Georgia and this portion of Florida here, which this I don't know if we'll really see anything out of, because if we do, because I mean, what they have this 20% on is a old front, and you can get tropical storms off of old fronts, but it's not very common that you do. And then we now have, instead of I think it was at 60 earlier, or not, or well, it was 60 yesterday, I think. Now it's down to 50. But they did add a 10%, which it was at 0% before, so there's a little bit more confidence within development, but looks like it'll take a little bit longer time for this to kind of develop in the Eastern Pacific on this one here. And then that's the mesoscale discussion I looked at earlier, but your peak probability that they have is 120, 145, and then wind 75, 90, and then 2 inch to a little over 3.5 inches in terms of diameter hail. And then here is the tornado watch, which they have a 50-30 for tornado probabilities, 60-50 for both wind and hail, which our wind and hail threat I would expect to be our main concerns for today. We'll have to see how our tornado threat ends up panning out. Which I'm more confident in our wind and hail threat panning out more than our tornado threat for today, and then I know I already showed the outlook, but there's your wind outlook for today with our SIG 2 for hurricane force winds, which this is with the confidence of there being an MCS or mesoscale convective system, but I think they considered a moderate, but they didn't go moderate since they didn't have much confidence in the longevity on the MCS. Can it happen in a strong thunderstorm? I mean, meant to can earthquakes be in a strong storm? I mean, well, I mean, yeah. For the, I don't. I mean, I haven't really heard people talk about those two things mutually, but one is weather and the other is the Earth's plates, which I mean, yeah, they can happen at the same time. They're not what's the description, like mutually exclusive or something? But what's the wording, like? But yeah, they can definitely happen at the same time. It just just a matter, I guess, of what time, when they happen. I guess I don't know. Ah, fingers. My fingers randomly just went like you know how like when you like I don't know if you have done it before, but if like you crack your like fist, that's what it felt like with what my fingers just did. Yeah, I can definitely see the case where our MCS is trying to form in this section here because you got a bunch of storms clustering into a section of here between Montana and the Dakotas there. And then gonna be another area to watch for here, because that was another thing to watch for too with our severe threat in Nebraska. Which, how far down does our okay, the tornado threat goes down here. It's still 2% though, so they didn't drag the well, the tornado watch is separate from the actual risk itself, but the 2% goes down to here in Nebraska. And I know it's a little bit more conditional on the tornado threat side of things here in Nebraska, whether or not it was more whether or not storms actually fired or not. Which I mean, there are storms firing now. All right, I need to edit the title because we no longer have that tornado warning over in Oregon, which was interesting. Interesting. I was not expecting there to be a tornado warning here in Oregon today at all. Which, if we actually go back a little bit, you can actually see where our rotation was at here. And then that basically went away for the most part there. I'm not really seeing much on velocities anymore on that, so. The new sphere this morning has to be over here in Montana, which does have a tornado policy. Didn't the last one have it on too? Yeah, it did. That was for 60 and 2-inch size hail for that one. And then this one was downgraded to, well, mainly with the hail too, ping pong. Keep looking at this. There is still rotation in there. Yeah, I can definitely tell there's definitely outflow right here. Or that definitely looks like outflow. And this is probably also I would say this is going outflow dominant, but this definitely still has rotation in it. But it's probably going into the process of becoming outflow dominant. And then another thing I want to talk about, which I haven't talked about quite yet, which I mean probably it's probably been heard a lot at this point with the heat next week, but take a look at that. Take a look at our actual upper pattern real quick first before I pull out the temperatures. So here is the euro. This is 12Z euro, so it's not. What is the GFS on? I'm kind of curious. 18Z. And okay, we'll take a look at the GFS because I mean the GFS and the euro will probably have at least a general idea of what we could be looking at for next week. And we're also close enough that we're close enough in time frame right now that we can look at for next well, the upcoming week, I should say, not next week. Which you can see we have this ridge out in the eastern half of the U.S. starting to build it in here. And this is 12C Monday, so this is 7 in the morning Monday. And we have this trough here. And we actually do have a severe threat on Monday, which, as of right now, the Storm Protection Center has they have a slight risk out there right now. We'll have to see if they do any upgrades or not with the next few outlooks. They probably haven't done any upgrades on it because of the probably some uncertainties, which I need to take a look at the discussion on that. I know I looked at it earlier, but I don't know if they changed anything on it from the I forgot what time it was when I did the last day 3 outlook off the top of my head, but yeah, what we're gonna be looking at is severe weather up here between Dakotas and Minnesota on Monday, and we have this ridge which will be bending over, which the jet stream will be going over, bending over the ridge here, and this is kind of a pattern that we see in terms of because we're in June, and this is I would say this kind of like a typical June July type of setup here, where we have a ridge and then a troughing, and this leads to the cases where we see MCSs and squall lines, and sometimes I mean if we have the right setup, we can get a derecho of it, but derecho there's very specific criteria for there to be classified as something as a derecho, which I'll show. I'll have to find it first, but I'll show in a second. But yeah, we kind of look at the rest of the week, upcoming week here, ridging, and kind of go into kind of a far range here going into the next weekend, but still shows a ridge on a GFS. What about the Euro? I'm kind of curious. And the Euro is a little bit, I would say, is a little bit out there, I would say, in the long range there for the next weekend. But we'll take a look at our temperatures for the next week. And going into Monday, we have going into actually what's gonna itself. Well, I know some of you out there have probably been waiting for it to probably feel like summer, and this upcoming week is definitely gonna feel like that. And guys, see, we have under our ridge area here, we got some, I mean, Texas, Oklahoma, some areas in the hundreds, and some places in like Illinois, Iowa, and all that there, and up like lower, maybe we can see upper 90s going to Monday. And then going into Tuesday, still got those nine temperatures up in the 90s. And basically the entire week is gonna be this kind of pattern too. And on Thursday, actually, going next few days, the Euro is showing some. It's definitely gonna be warm. It's gonna be a hot one out there on the eastern coast there. Still continuing into next week, which we're kind of getting into the range that I mean, still kind of see it's still gonna be quite tight warm out there. Now we'll take a look at our dew points, and yeah, I mean, it is just June and we're going to July, so it's gonna be a lot more moisture from the Gulf. But even then, definitely gotta be quite moist going into the upcoming week. All right, I think we have a new tornado warning. I think here, yeah, which could be Grand versus Kutawa and Eddyville, and they issued this tornado warning here. Actually, let me refresh, make sure that's not actually a new tornado, or is it? Let me see. No, it is. Okay, because sometimes it'll show because sometimes Weatherfront will have some bug sometimes with showing things, but kind of just gotta give it a refresh and it'll fix itself. Which it did there. Which if we do have rotation, it's probably gonna be near Brookport. I wonder if because I do have Raider Omega up here. I wonder if we'll have a view of this from the Metropolis camera, maybe depending on where it's pointing at. Okay, this is pointing that Metropolis camera is pointing southwest, so we're not gonna be able to see if there's any kind of wall cloud or anything there. So we have two tornado warnings going on, both in Kentucky. Actually, one's technically in Illinois, actually. And there's also is a, as of right now, which is still going on for about an hour. There is a flash flood emergency over here in Kentucky. Or is this Indiana? Let me see. No, it's Indiana. But there was a couple flash flood emergencies earlier in Kentucky, which one was over near Nicholasville and one over near Richmond, Kentucky. They're having more rainfall making their way here, although probably not be as definitely not be as much as rainfall as what they were seeing earlier. Which is, I mean, there's still gonna be more rain on the way, but it's definitely not. Hopefully, it shouldn't be as heavy as it was when it comes to the rainfall side of things. Also, what? So it's July, not July, June 27th. We're upcoming to the 4th of July soon here. Kind of curious what everybody's doing, or if what kind of just what what y'all be doing if you got any plans at all. Also, we got a new mesoscale discussion. We'll go over to that. So here's a new mesoscale discussion, which is concerning the severe dust watches in Montana and technically in Wyoming down here too, but mainly Montana here. Wind and hail continuing to be the main threats. Large hail, isolated downbursts to broader, strong, severe wind threat through 6 to 7 Mountain Daylight Time, which is 7 to 8 o'clock Central. Looks like the White Sox won another game, which the White Sox won it. Well, they've won it past couple against past couple games against the Kansas City Royals. Which yesterday, the Royals managed to get one, and then White Sox got 22. I'm like, holy crap! All right, we got a mesoscale discussion here as well. It looks like, which was just released as well. Because this actually, oh yeah. All right, so corridor of locally greater potential may develop along a remnant outflow boundary this evening. So we do have a outflow boundary here, which is one of the reasons why we're gonna be seeing a tornado threat down here too. Which I mean, at least according to this report here, we did have a tornado. There's like three different tornado ports here. Whether or not because with the recent things that have been happening, there's been spotter network reports that are like just completely bogus. Oh, my nose. Hold on one second. All right. check back up on the 20 warning over here. They actually condensed this quite a bit here. And potentially still at least in terms of rotation, probably a broad area rotation here near Brookport. Which I wish the camera in Metropolis was like swung around to see it, but although I don't know what the because I know there's a bunch of trees on here, so I don't know what the tree situation would look like for down here. Probably KUDX is down. What the see where that radiate? Where's see what the I forgot what radar. Oh, that's not good. Ah, yeah. So that is Rapid City's radar that just went down, and they're in a main risk area. Or actually, well, they're not in a main. Well, they're not in the main risk area, but areas that they cover are in a main risk area. That's not ideal. Alright, great. So looks like I don't know where our storm chasers are, but storm chasers are definitely gonna be the thing to watch for here. And this, okay, I fixed this arm of this chair like 100 times in a row, and it's still. I don't know what it is. It's like it's like I don't know if the bolt is on this like screw strip or something or what. Although I do know that and and also the radar in Sioux Falls is down too. So there's two radar sites down here right now, down in South Dakota right now. Although the one that we have the bigger concern for right now is the one in our tornado watch right now. Oh boy. Okay. So it looks like I'll have to pull up some storm chasers on the side here in a second. Uh, if we get because I mean tornado warnings pop up anywhere, but oh, I need to sneeze. All right. I don't know what it is. This room, I don't know if there's like something in my room that's making me sneeze or what. I don't know what's going on. But as it's kind of I need to stop myself in frame here. What am I doing? And I need to. See here what we got on these. I don't know if we I don't think we have any rotation on these. At least at the lower levels. Because I mean you need shear which makes storms rotate. And that makes them a supercell so you get your hail and all that, but yeah, not exactly once again, not exactly a ideal situation. Alright, new severe industrial warning. 2-inch ice hail, 6-mile point gust, strongest storm was located near Webster, about 20 miles southeast of Baker as a 525. Mountain Daylight Time. Ugh. God, just I'm sitting here. Ugh. Well, let me Oh, okay, that's not what I fit in there. Why is it okay? Why you don't fit? This plug for my charger does not want to get in here. Or is this thing bent? No, it's not bent. It's just they had a pain in the butt. Okay, there we go. Why was that so difficult to get in? Never had I well, okay, I say that, but I've had cases where the charger won't go in the hole after perfectly placing it in. Oh. Oh well. Keep that over there. Oh. Okay, good thing my water bottle has the cap on it, because that thing was on an angle. I was like, if that thing falls, it's well. I mean, there's nothing on the bottom here, so it's not gonna submerge anything in water, but it's gonna make the floor all wet, which is not exactly ideal either. Yeah, you can see even I know we're far away from radar, but yeah, a lot of storms trying to congeal into MCS there. Where's our let me go to wind, because I don't know if okay, our damage and wind threat's like right there. So and our storms are just south on the southern half of 36 and 38% as well. And then our next outlook will be coming out at around 8 o'clock. And yesterday, I think it was either yesterday or the day before that. And it came out at 7:25, which I mean, outlooks are due by a certain time. They don't have to come out exactly that time, but now let's go down to our tornado warnings, because we still have two. Still potentially at least had something near Brookport. If we do have rotation, it's probably gonna be this right here. So very in terms of reflective, definitely not a high precipitation area there. And then in terms of rotation on this thing here, which is still trying to hook onto the outflow, seems like it's mostly outflow dominant right now. Maybe with a little bit of rotation on it still, just east of Grand Rivers, make its way southeast. All right, they did end up canceling out the tornado warning on this up here. It looks like. So we just have the tornado warning in Kentucky now. Not want to delete that. Okay, I'm fat fingering my keyboard right now. Keep an eye on this area here. I would imagine. I mean, they're probably gonna let this go till it expires out this tornado warning, but we'll have to see if they do extend the tornado warning or not. We actually have a interesting report here. Final cloud report. Moving southeast over Taco Bell observed from Burger King. There's no way. Okay, there's no way that's an actual report. I mean, it makes sense for like in terms of like I guess geolocation, but like something that's quite the report there. Also, another interesting little thing I saw earlier on the Rapid City radar. You can see that little spin there, which I don't know because I was like, I'm not sure if that's our surface low or what's going on though. There. Yeah, that looks like it'd be the surface low. Because looking at the meso analysis, even 996 here, and then 998 here, 996 here. So we have low pressure in there, so that's probably the surface low spinning in that. Which, if anything does end up spinning near that surface low, um, it'll have enhanced for it's gonna have enhanced vorticities for spin there. So the 2-inch size hailstone port there, falling now. It looks like there's some rotation here. Let me take a look at the storm chaser feed because I know that's gonna be kind of the only way right now that we're really gonna be able to see anything, or at least I'm gonna be able to see anything. I can't really show any storm chaser feed. Yeah, looking at a couple of storm chaser feeds actually here, and they're all on this one cell, which it looks for the most part. I mean, it does have tornado pass, does have tornado pass tag, so there is rotation at somewhere probably in the upper levels, but it does look like it's elevated though for right now. And then it looks like there's a severe swing over near Rapid City, over Rapid. Well, I say near, but it does cover Rapid City for SB for 60 mile per hour winds there. A lot. Oh, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's still. I mean, there's quite a bit of talk on it. Rotation from earlier over. That's still ongoing over here in Montana. Whether or not it's an actual tornado ongoing or not. Which I mean, it's considering. I mean, since we don't. I mean, the radar site's all the way out here, and the Rapid City, which is down now since the radar went down. And I don't think we're gonna have a very good view on this. Yeah, we're not gonna have a very good view on this. Trying to see. Apparently, yeah, someone WX Kobold went to pull up their shapefile they have for low scan by point, and yeah, every radar is not gonna be having a good view of this. That is once again not great situation. All right, looking back at this cell here, yeah, still rotating there. Looks a little bit more tight than it was earlier. Not seeing anything on CC, but let's still keep an eye on it just in case it does. Hi, man. Yeah, I would expect there to be probably a extension on this. Okay, they condensed it by a little bit. But I would expect there to be a extension of his tornado warning at some point here. If they do end up extending it. And then I guess I probably should talk about the vlog, which I did upload, but I was originally gonna have that released today, but I was like, I'm just gonna release it when we're not having a day of significant severe weather, which I have it now for Tuesday, so that'll be coming out on Tuesday. See, so yeah, it's just a continuation for the tornado warning so far. They haven't issued anything new in terms of tornado warnings yet. Once again, I would expect us to get a new tornado warning at some point here. I haven't checked the. Let me look. Let me go to the weather prediction center real quick because I haven't checked. Actually, one interesting. That's not. I keep thinking of random things between that. Like ooh. This. Oh, I should show that. I should show that. But yeah, here is there's winter storm warning and then a winter weather advisory going on between Montana and then also Idaho. So we have winter weather in June, which I mean does make sense considering I mean it does I guess make sense considering these areas are higher elevation areas, but yeah. Oh, I should have probably looked at. I don't know if this was actually be close. I don't know if this was even close enough. Let me see what the camera looks like. Yeah, this would probably wouldn't have been close enough to see the rotation that was up here in Metropolis. And even when the rotation was near Metropolis, all you could see was just rain. So probably wouldn't have been able to see much in itself from earlier. I was tornado warned. Interesting. So, looking at the Weather Prediction Center, they actually have, well, day one. I mean, there's winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up here in the upper elevations, but there's a day two and three for winter weather, and then outside that, there's not much. But and then looking at our surface analysis from the Weather Prediction Center, this is from earlier. Actually, just 22 is the which actually I think not even that long ago. Actually, now that I think of it, and this is well, this is 21Z Saturday, which is around 3 o'clock actually. So this is issued at around 4 o'clock. So this is from 3 o'clock here. So you got your one low pressure there. Actually, another one down here. Then you got your dry line set up down here. Warm front, and then you got a cold front. You got a decluded front here. Our main threat in terms of tornadoes is in this corridor here between Montana, North, and South Dakota there. And then going to 00Z, you have the Weather Prediction Center has like thunderstorms likely and or severe, which is this maroon color. If it was a maroon color, it'd be just like lighter red, I guess you can call it, or just straight up just red. And then going to about 1 in the morning, they still have severe storms outlined here between North Dakota and Montana. And then going to tomorrow, they have a slight corridor at 18Z, which says tomorrow is a slight risk, which tomorrow will be a mainly wind and hail threat. Then Monday, yeah, which we have another severe threat on, which they don't have anything specific for that yet. But if we do have anything in terms of tornadoes, it'll probably be along the warm front here and then near our triple point, because that will be where we have vorticity or enhanced spin. So allow storms to spin and potentially produce tornadoes. All right, and okay, never mind. I was supposed to say they canceled the tornado warning, but no, they just kind of do it actually. Or they canceled the old warning, but then reissued a new one, I should say. Which makes sense considering this is still rotating. You can see the last couple scans still rotating in there. The smaller tornado warning, I don't remember whose responsibility area this is here. Let me see if I can find a thing. Or is this still Paducah here? No, it's still Paducah. So this issued a really small tornado warning. Probably not expecting probably not expecting this. I mean, it's moving slowly, but probably not expecting this to go on too much longer. Probably, and it's just that long, probably because of the movement speed. How long? Let me see what the see moving east at 25. My nose itching. see, where is? I think it's in the experimental products, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Where is it at? Heat index, maybe? No. Actually, no. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this product before. Okay. That's actually kind of interesting. So here is the I never even knew this product even existed in a weather prediction center. So this is the heat index, max heat index daily. And this is, I mean, it's kind of like I don't know what to call it, like general expectations, I guess, for certain areas for heat index. And they have a couple areas here. And this is a heat index, so this is basically the feels like essentially for your temperatures. And they have a couple purple spots down here between Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and all that, and Illinois, Missouri. And that is looks to be 110 to 115, what it feels like probably. And then going into wow, the East Coast got quite up there. This is on the fourth as well, third and fourth. Let's see. There's something I was trying to find earlier. Not the excessive. It's like something for heat. I think that might be. Maybe I'm thinking the climate prediction center, maybe, which is possible. No, let me go through that real quick. If I'm thinking of the climate prediction center. No, let me go back to radar real quick, and then I'll try and find this. Watch as I like find it like 2 seconds after I just went back to radar. Maybe. I think excessive rainfall. I need the excessive heat. There is actually a excessive rainfall actually for outlook here. That's the climate. There's okay. There we go. So there is a moderate for excessive rainfall between Tennessee and Kentucky and Indiana, right in here. Which we actually have been seeing quite a bit of flooding in this section here already, for a good portion of today. And then up in the Dakotas, or at least North Dakota, there's a slight risk. And then tomorrow there's a slight risk, which is along North Carolina, and then I think that's the only area where a slight risk. I was trying to check to see if we have any other areas, but that looks like that's that's our only area there. Oh, probabilistic hazards. No, that's not what I'm looking for either. Where is it at? I swear it was the Weather Prediction Center that had the product I'm looking for here. I know it's not the heat index. That's that, because we already looked at that. Ah, it's in forecast tools. There we go. Yeah, I found it. Okay. So it was in the forecast tools section of the Weather Prediction Center. So this is what I was looking for here with the experimental heat risk. And then there's actually a couple other things I have not looked at yet on here. Experimental urban rain rate. So looking at so here's today. Actually got a couple areas down here in Texas that have extreme heat risk there. Then Sunday, as our rate starts building in, we start seeing more areas light up in red and some purples there. Tuesday, I think I mean Monday, I know it's gonna be Could be up there in temperature, but definitely Tuesday and beyond is definitely gonna be where we're gonna be. It's definitely gonna be feeling like summer for sure. After that, probably Wednesday and Thursday, maybe Wednesday, will probably be our hotter days, at least here in the Midwest, and then that moves off towards the east, at least in terms of our heat risk. But now, honestly, depend on how long our ridge ends up. How long it'll take for our ridge to build to kind of to build down our weekend. And here's actually a experimental product I have for excessive rainfall, and they also have all the offices and stuff here too. So I can see where your offices are, and then also your state where that risk is at. So that's actually kind of cool. And then here's actually experimental tool for like storm reports actually. What's this? This is actually today with this funnel cloud here. Video of funnel cloud Assumption, Illinois. And then this one near Mount Zion. Koa, Mattoon. And then these dots are going to be flash flood reports, looks like. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And that is in Nicholasville there. Video shopping center parking lot underwater off South Main Street and Rebel Road. There's actually a couple of them here. One near Wilmar, Kentucky there. And then these squares are be thunderstorm wind reports here. Thunderstorm damaging wind reports there. And then these diamonds are gonna be hail reports. Okay, there's only one base map, which is light. I swear some of these websites need a dark mode, especially when you're opening up at like the wee hours of the night. Urban rain rate dashboard. I haven't looked at this before, so I'm kind of curious what this entails here. So let's see. So this is guessing like 1 year, like when like how many year type of rainfall events, I guess. Yeah, this is an interesting product. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Definitely never seen this before, actually. And there's actually a really nice UI. Man, can we get this UI for the main Weather Prediction Center website? Actually, really nice. We got news to radar this morning. That's before 7 mile per hour winds. That's be up in Wyoming. And then there's also this one here, which is 1 for 70. There was actually what is this? 89 mile per hour wind report there from Mesonet site. From WY3. Oh, it's a radar setup? Oh, it is. Yes! Okay, we're back in business up here in South Dakota. All right. And then we also got extension on a tornado warning down in Kentucky, so we'll go to that. There is actually still some rotation in there, which is this little area here. Definitely not as I would say. Look, it doesn't look as tight as was a couple scans ago, but it is still there for the most part. Oh, before I forget too, let me because I know I mentioned earlier I was gonna show the new criteria for derecho. I completely forgot about that. All right, so here's the modified definition of derecho, which was updated from, well, it was updated for this year, but the actual whatchamacallit, like I call it like research, I guess. The kind of modified the definition came into place. Well, was doing from last year. I think it was Squaredy. I think, if I remember correct, I think that let me hold on. 'Cause I'm trying to, let's see. Yeah, and then there's a whole BAMS, which is Bulletin of AMS, or Bulletin of American Meteorological Society um article on this. And I actually went back to radar. So you got it take a little, probably a little bit to read, but it goes over the whole thing on a modified definition of derecho. Part 2. Update spatial climatology of derechos across the contiguous United States. Squarey, Wade, and Jurek. And okay, so here's a modified definition of derecho. Widespread severe reports from either wind damage or 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts measured estimated comprising the wind swath all occurs from the same MCS. Parent MCS must be at least over 60 miles long, 100 kilometers, and last for at least 3 hours. All reports of the wind swath must occur in progressive sequence. The parent MCS forward speed is greater than environmental mean wind speed. No more than 1 hour may elapse between reports and wind swath. Spatial gaps between reports and wind swath may not exceed 200 kilometers or 124 miles. The wind swath must be 400 kilometers, about 250 miles long, at least 575 plus miles per hour. Gust reports, measured or estimated, separated by 50 miles, must occur in the 250 plus mile long wind swath. At least 3 measured 75 gust reports separated by 50 miles are required in the wind swath. So that is the modified definition of a derecho. And we did have a derecho earlier this year already, which was on June 10th. And then let me get up the actual post here as well from that. All right. So here's that. I don't think I've ever shown this post. Maybe I have, but here's that the rate show that was from a couple weeks back on June 10th. Preliminary confirmed as the Rachel, which is now confirmed as the Rachel now. But wind swath had a track length over 400 miles with a footprint just under 100,000 square miles. The strongest known gust was measured at over 94. And then here's your wind reports, and then you got your environmental speed, and then your MCS forward speed, which was at 38 knots, and then your environment was 26 knots. And then they did include the degree direction as well. I don't know if the clock in the background is being picked up on my mic, but I have a clock in the background that you might hear that goes off every hour and makes train sounds. I don't know what's going on here in the comment section. Let me go to the radar site over here in Hopkinsville. Although we're close to both radars, but yeah, still, I mean, got rotation there. Definitely much weaker than what it was there earlier. So we'll see. This will probably be live to expire out, but we'll see if they do end up canceling out that at some point. If they do end up doing that or not, but all right, let's see what we got in terms of rotation here on these storms. If we have anything on these, which maybe a little bit something on the cell here, but I think a lot of our rotation in this is definitely gonna be like we'll probably get, if we do have the case at least, where we'll probably have maybe a quick spin up from storm interactions, but otherwise definitely gonna have the case where we're gonna be seeing definitely, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of wind reports, but definitely quite a few hail reports. Where's our tornado risk at? Let me see. So our tornado risk is up here. And there was actually a tornado report up here in Montana. See, brief tornado 10 miles northwest of 335. I almost said 355, which is not up here. That's over down here. Which is not any of these. Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, 355 is right here. Like, I know where 355 is at. Why am I having struggles trying to find it? New Spiritus running SP for $half size hail and 6 mile per hour winds. Which we have another case where cells are congealing together down here too, it looks like. So that will also be mainly wind and hail there too, looks like. Let's see. Other than this, we haven't seen any new mesoscale discussions. Which I'm not expecting them to release a new mesoscale discussion, like in this, at least this area, for a while still. Alright, looks like that flash flood emergency was probably downgraded to just a regular flash flood now. Which, how many flash flood warnings? 16 of them. Holy. That's split between Indiana, Kentucky, and Illinois for flash flooding. I would be surprised if we don't see this congeal into a big old MCS in a minute here. I say a minute, but not an actual minute. Probably like within an hour. It looks like there's maybe hour or two actually. It looks like there's a bookend vortex something trying to form up here. You can kind of see it spinning. Let me go to the radar up here in Canada, see if that is actually the case. Maybe. All right, new severe swing SP4, 2-inch high sails, 70 miles per hour. Winds. And I did not want to rotate the camera. There's no trial policy on it, but I would expect our, once these start continuing into a little bit more of a line, I would expect our, at least our QLCS tornado side things to kind of ramp up a little bit. Hey, what's up, cheese? Party cheese? Yeah, Kentucky seems like it's had quite the day today, I will say. Between the flash flooding and then a couple of tornado warnings here and there. How's how have you been, party cheese? Also, I see you're on your live account too. I can imagine your weather radios probably have gone off like 100 different times today. All right, new mesoscale discussion that apparently doesn't want to load properly. Okay, which you probably actually just released like 2 seconds ago, so maybe that's why. All right, let's look at this. All right, so a new mesoscale discussion for up here in between actually Nebraska and South Dakota, technically, but mainly Dakotas. They actually have the lower tornado probabilities, although this is concerning the severe tornado watch and not the tornado watch. Ongoing thunderstorms continue to pose a risk for primarily large to very large hail and damaging wind gusts. And I can kind of see with the temperatures and dew points, there's kind of a dew point spread, which I think is, if I remember correctly, that is one thing I actually did mention earlier on my community post with the tornado threat being conditional because of that, which I'm guessing that might be still the case. Let me take a look at if I can find the METAR data here. 81 over 66, 77 over 66, 79 over 70. My throat. So maybe a little bit dry, probably still. As dry as what my throat was, just like doing what my throat dry throat was doing like 2 seconds ago. That's how dry. That's the dryness. Yeah, that all totally made sense. Yeah. Let's see. So Alec will be coming out at some point here within the hour. All right, new tornado warning. So they have extended the tornado warning on us here. Especially for Cerulean and areas of Cadiz in Kentucky. So the tornado warning continues in Kentucky. Oh, what's that? I'm use the bathroom. All right, I'm back. I had to quickly use the bathroom. Ugh. Because I'm sitting in my chair, blanket behind me. I'm not completely sitting flat on my chair, but oh well. All right, let's see. Let's see. So with storm check here, looks like within an hour here, it'll be near or in Hopkinsville. How much can I spread? Oh wow, that's quite the spread I can set to. Okay, and you can set the 2 hours actually. Let's see. Oh, nope. Well, this is mainly 20, so yeah, about an hour. Although this is taking it from different points here. So it shows different timings from different points, but generally in about an hour or so, this storm will be over in or near Hopkinsville. And this is along the outflow boundary too, which according to these I say these reports because there was like 3 different reports on this one cell here from earlier, but according to those reports, there was a tornado on a cell earlier. Check back up here. 0 to 24, 60 and $half. Which these ones I think are expire out soon, unless these ones were recently issued. I think this one. Okay, these ones are the ones that expire out soon here. So a couple of these that actually technically one. Okay, I just prevented a yawn somehow, some way, somewhere, some way. Seems like there's still rotation in this area right here. Let me take a look at. Do I still have the other? I do. Question is, are there any storm chasers directly looking at the storm here? There, okay, got Ryan Scholl, who has his camera pointing towards it. There's quite the shelf on this, oh yeah, there's a shelf on this. So this is it is developing into shelf cloud here. That will bring the damage wind gust part of this. There is a cell here that looks like it's still discrete for now, though. This Storm Project Center cancels Watch 404, which was a cell. This watch over here for North Carolina from earlier. Okay, I must be that apparently that tired from because I've yawned at least twice. like, okay, I'm gonna move these blankets out of here. Then I can like sit back in my chair properly. There we go. All right, cool. Then I can also have my blankets I have here in front of me. Yeah, someone made a food tier list. Looks like they have for S tier Culver's, Five Guys, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, Cane's, Whataburger, Domino's Pizza, Krispy Kreme, Auntie Anne's, and DQ. Now this is fast food. Check back up on our tornado warning. Look at our velocities here. Yeah, I think this is outflow dominant at this point. Looks like, at least according to what I'm seeing here on velocities. And there's also 35 minutes left on this Sphere Dust Watch. I can't imagine I got to extend it, but we'll see what they do with it. If they do anything with it. That's what I should look at actually. The Endon Mesonet, which is Endon is the Mesonet site in North Dakota. And here's the current temperatures across North Dakota. It actually does extend it to Montana and Minnesota actually too. Today's max temperatures 86 in Southwest North Dakota there. Minimum temperatures, some nice temperatures actually for June. And then let's see, wind and pressure. Current wind at 10 feet. Current wind direction. Peak wind gust. Today's peak wind gust at 10 feet. 50-51 over here in the Mesonet sites over here in southwestern North Dakota. And there's some that are at 20, 32 mile per hour winds here. And current wind 55 here at this Mesonet station. Wind gust at 33 feet, 67. So it seems like I think one of our storms are there, probably producing some damaging winds. That's probably if I had to guess, that's near Rom, North Dakota there. Yeah. It was measured. Okay, that was local. I can't speak. It was measured by local deputy. Heavy rain, no hail present. And then you can look at the sea level pressure, which is the standard way to look at your pressure for, well, just, yeah, pretty much pressure. And got an area of high pressure, looks like out here in southeastern North Dakota, looks like. And then you got some areas lower pressure and across the pretty much half the state here in North Dakota. And I can actually look at the 3 hour change. That is that's quite a bit of pressure change there from going from low to high. And this actually updated 2 minutes ago as well. How often? I don't know how often this. I don't know. I don't know how often this updates. Let's see. We got total, actually total rainfall. 2 inches up here. 2 inches up here in North Dakota. And some, actually, a couple areas I got to 2 inches, and then some are about a little over an inch of rain. Some just half of that, and then below that. And then there's also dew points, which I mean, it is June, so we're gonna have pretty moist atmosphere up here. I just updated this, so we got a small tornado warning now, and they're letting this one. Okay, that one just expired. Actually, never mind. So they are continuing this one for another 15 minutes. They haven't extended it or anything though. Oh, and okay, well, it's down again. So we had a short window when it while it was up. It looks like, I guess. So I was up till, so wow, yeah, that is quite a jump. And so it was going for about So it's back at 6:46. 2 minutes later, still going. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then 10 minutes. And it's back down again. As of the latest as of the past almost half hour, I think there. Yeah, almost half hour. Alright, we have a new severe this morning as before, 80-mile-per-hour winds and quarter size hail. New severe this morning as before, 80-mile-per-hour winds and quarter size hail. Let's be up here again. And that is actually observed actually too. Let's see. Where was this confirmed at? Train spires reported. Also, it's considering that this is warm for 80, it should be treated like a tornado warning. Go away, stay away from windows and exterior walls, since this is packing damaging winds and it's observed for 80-mile-per-hour winds now. Let me actually try to see here. And we have a tornado warning up here in North Korea now. Okay, there we go. That's our first tornado warning of the day up here in the Dakotas. Or at least in the Dakotas, but specifically North Dakota. And that is gonna be going for 40 minutes. It's gonna be this. I mean, it has direction of northwest. This will eventually be later down the line, probably within the next, I would say, probably half hour, maybe half hour to an hour. We'll probably see this cell here merge with the rest of this as this makes its way to forming into an MCS and then make its way northeast. Let's check back on the 21 here. Yeah, they'll probably end up canceling this out. If not, they'll probably let it expire out here. And then from there, we'll be focusing on our tornado threat for a bit. Unless we get another... Never mind. They're extending the tornado warning. Okay. My guess is probably because of this right here. That's going to be merging with this. I can actually look at the upper levels real quick. Interesting. Also, there's like a tiniest little area rotation in here. That would be the only area I would see that there's rotation. Otherwise, I have no idea. Also, a tornado warning in North Dakota. It's going to be east of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park and south of Fairfield, North Dakota. There is a population of 120 and one school in that area. So if you're in this area of this tornado warning, make sure you're getting to your safe place as you're in a tornado warning, whether it be a low fire building your home or sheer fire building your home. It's just one cell too that's been tornadic for a while now too. We've had others. I mean, we've had other cells that have been tornadic, but this one's the only one that's had tornado warning for a little while now in Kentucky. So this is gonna be basically knocking on the doorstep of Hopkinsville here. So we'll probably see. I mean, considering we just got a tornado warning on this again here, Wouldn't be surprised if Hopkinsville gets included within the next tornado warning. New Sphere to see for 6 mile per hour winds and golf ball size hail. There actually is a couple reports here of golf ball size hail. Actually, ping pong for this one, but ping pong to golf ball size hail reports there. And then there's the wind report, which was actually measured at an Endon station there over near Bowman. Let me actually go to the Endon site here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So actually, how long? This actually just updated 2 minutes ago, and this report was at 7:25. So here starts our damaging wind threat for this evening. There's a cell down here in Nebraska that'll probably be something to watch for. There is there's some contamination there, but that'll be the area to watch for in there, at least for rotation. And okay, it's back up again. It was going for 2 scans here. Check back on the cell here. Oh, this is the weirdest presentation I've ever seen of radar for a cell as tornado warned. Let me actually go to dual field real quick on this one. Because you can see from earlier where I'm gonna go back. You can see where it's very clear where the rotation was, and then that might have been the recycling there, but and then they reissued a tornado warning, which the reflectivity and velocities don't line up at all there. So the rotation would be back in here, and then they rewarned it. It'll be still in there somewhere. Although, still looks like the rotation might be in here. Once again, this is the weirdest cell I've ever seen for something that's tornado warned. It's a new Stratos speed for 6 mile per hour wind gusts and $half size hail. New tornado warning has to be up in looks like South Dakota actually now, but this one. Wow, yeah, I can see why. Which should be this right here. Probably got another little area here that's rotating just north of Scranton. But it's too far to kind of tell considering how far we are from radar. But yeah, this 21 should be south of Haley, South Dakota. Not South Dakota, North Dakota. And it's going to be making its way northeast. So we actually may get a, considering the velocities here, I mean, we are far from radar, but I mean, just getting certain velocities, I would not be surprised if this thing does end up producing here. Let me actually take a look at the storm chaser feed here. See what we got going on. What we got going on is one big shelf cloud. Holy. I mean, it extends all along here. Wow, that is I mean, I saw one the 3 days ago, but man, this one is even more impressive than what I saw then here. But where I was staying at was the one here where I was staying at. There was streets and houses in the way, so oh well. But man, this seriously, this is just shelf on us. This is insane. And there's actually a wind report from back here. Actually, 58-mile-per-hour wind report there. And a couple of hail ports too. We got a golf ball size hail port there, and 2-inch size hail ports. One here and then one here. One that was near Buffalo, and the other that was kind of in the middle of nowhere there. So to fit the states in here, so I put it as Kentucky, Nodak, Sodak. So Kentucky, North Dakota, South Dakota. All right, so that 21 in South Dakota actually does include a town, which is not showing up on here for some reason. Let me Oh no, it is at maximum. Data for towns and stuff. It's not showing up on here, I guess. Let me see if it shows up on here on weatherwise. It shows up on here on weatherwise. Although the text is so small on here. You literally, like, you can see Haley, South Dakota on here, but you gotta zoom in to see Ralph, South Dakota. Let's see. Trying to see where is I think that county settlement settings. Did that fix it? It did. Okay. Even zooming out, it still doesn't show it. I guess I'm guessing how was the 111 population for population. But even that, I feel like it still should show up anyways. But it's very weird on placement with sometimes with towns and stuff on radar sites, and well, it's not even radar. Well, not even radar sites. It's map box, I guess. I say radar sites, but radar apps and websites, whatnot. It's they both use Mapbox, so that's probably I don't know what I don't know what the specifics for Mapbox would be specifically for how they do things. I've never messed around with anything with Mapbox before, so I wouldn't specifically know anything on that to kind of thing, I guess you could say. Or I will say, I don't know. The say of the says. I don't know. All right, new severe dust warning SB for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. I can take this off the charger now, finally. They haven't issued a new tornado warning as of yet, so. Which, for the last one, I said they probably want to extend it, but now I'm gonna watch to see if they will extend this one too. Which, looking at velocities, I can't imagine them extending it. We got a new severe dust warning in North Dakota with tornado tag as well, actually. And that's actually quite a big one too. So extending from all the way down here in Haley, North Dakota, all the way up to just a few miles, a couple miles south of Belfield, North Dakota. There. New severe dust warning here, which is for 40 mile. I say 40. 6 mile per hour winds and half-dollar size hail, which I don't know if I read. I think this might be the one I read earlier. Yeah, that looks about the one, I think, yeah. And then there's also one up in Montana too, looks like. Or was a new one in Montana. Which one is this? Let me see. So it's this one right here. With tornado tag on it too. Update sound. Actually, there's a severe dust storm still going on over here, but that's mainly for wind on that. Which includes Gradyville, Flatwood, Sparksville, and Kentucky there. I'm kind of curious. I don't think I ever looked at the probabilities for this severe dust watch, which 40 40 50 40 for 50 40 for hail, 40 40 for wind, 20 10 for 2010 for tornadoes. And it looks like the radar in Rapid City is down again, it looks like. Let me see. What time is 7:50? Okay, so it's down. It seems like it's down on here. Let me see. Give it a moment to kind of update and whatnot on here. Because if it's down, yeah, it's it's gone up and down. The KUDX, which is Rapid City's radar, it's gone down, I think, 3 times in a row now. 2-3 times. Something like that. Wow. Yeah, that is that's the radar and Bowman that with that image. I could actually pull it up here because it is on I don't know if it's like a it is a looks like it is a I don't know if it is a government rated radar, but it is in North Dakota and it's on the government local state. I say local state. It's on the state government website here, but so here is what it looks like. Where can I Where's the loop interval? There we go. I think I say fix it, but I think I got it now. So this is what the storms look like right now on the Bowman radar here. Which this looks so much cleaner than what it looks like on the radar. Actually, it's not even online on Radar Omega. Actually, I was about to say it looks so much better on. It looks like so much. It looks so much better on the website compared to Radar Omega, but it's not even online on Radar Omega, so I can't even show it there. Unfortunately, or is this only? I think this might be only just reflectivity. I think. Show historical emissions up to 3 months back. Holy, that's quite a bit months back. All right, we no longer have that 21 in Kentucky now. We do have a new Sphere 20 SB for 7 power winds and tennis ball size hail too. Holy. So large hail threat and then also tornado threat. Which our air rotation is still gonna be in this section here. Crossing 79 there. State Highway 79. Or never mind, it's gonna pop up, but it's still going, I guess. Okay, that's okay. Okay. Oh, so we still do have the tour going in Kentucky. Or is that the oh no, it is still going on. It'll be allowed to expire. So that tornado warning is still technically going on, but it's being allowed to expire out. We actually have a tornado report on us here. Storm chaser related video of brief tornado north of Belfield. It has since lifted. No damage reported. Location based on radar. Actually, 7 a.m. up power wind for here. 7:45 p.m. Measured at the Mosher Endon site there. Alright, so it's showing us offline on weather-wise, but seems like it's still online. Because you still got scans coming in here, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Also, another thing I want to take a look at as well, because I know I think we still have in place, is... Let me see if we still have those red flag warnings out over in Utah. National Service Hazards. Yeah, we still have the red flag warnings out there in Utah, and there's also still quite a few fires. The Cottonwood fire has gotten larger. I think there was another one I looked at earlier. I say earlier, but the other day. Where is it at? Where is this at? That is a tornado warning in Tennessee now. All the way over here, just southeast of Monterey. This is outside of our watch area too. And that rotation is gonna be just along I-40 there. Let me go back a little bit here. Yeah, I can see that air rotation that was developing over the past couple scans too. Actually, isn't there? Let me actually check radar mega because I think I think there's a camera over here. Let me see. There is. All right. So I don't know what direction this is pointing though. That's the only problem. Although it's not rating heavy, so I'm assuming this is pointing towards the southwest. I did not want to open that up. All right, so where is it? Why is it not showing on here? All right, so here's the camera over in Putnam County, the Putnam County EMA camera here. I think that might be where our rotation is at over here potentially, but if we do have any rotation, because I think this is pointing southwest, but I don't know if we really have any notice, at least in terms of a lowering. I don't think we have anything noticeable. I'm thinking over here though, but it'd probably be in this section here, right in the middle. Thought that was a report for a second, but no, but that's just the lightning. All right, and they are indeed continuing that tornado warning on this here, and you probably hear the clock going off in the background. I'm just gonna put multiple ongoing tornado warnings because I don't think I'm gonna be. Actually, I take it I could. Let me try something real quick. There we go. Yeah, I can fit them all. I just had to kind of remove the hail, wind, tornado threat part of it. All right, new severe to 20 for 80-mile-per-hour winds. And we actually do have a 78-mile-per-hour wind report, which I read earlier on that one. And then a 68-mile-per-hour wind report here. Wouldn't be surprised if at some point, I mean, we'll have to see, but Once again, if you're an 80-mile-per-hour wind report, all right, 80-mile-per-hour wind report, 80-mile-per-hour severe dust warning, treat it like a tornado warning. Because 80 mile per hour damaging wind gusts, they can cause damage like a tornado. I just realized I need to switch over to this. Okay, there we go. So here's our air rotation still in Tennessee. And then our... Oh, actually, we actually had a... Ah, yeah. That's definitely quite the typo there. Possible rain wrap tornado, according to that tornado report. I mean, we do actually have a bit of a hook here. And if we do have rotations, could be down here over near Hopkinsville. So someone was chasing this one cell here, so guess we'll have to keep an eye on this cell for a while. Alright, and a new outlook just came out too, which they did they kept the severe risk down here in Kentucky and Tennessee and Illinois and Missouri too. And Texas too. I imagine they probably put it to a 2% tornado risk, I would imagine, right? Yeah. And I did downgrade the tornado threat, it looks like. So we no longer have that 10% in place, but we now have 5%. There's two different corridors of SIG 1. Let's see if it's updated on here. I don't think it will be yet, but that'll be something to check out like later on here. But we can look at it on the actual site itself for now. But she'll let me get that up. I need to sort my like 1,000 different like sites have up here real quick. All right, so here's a new outlook, still enhanced risk in place. Um, here's our tornado risk now. They downgraded that 10%. They have a 5% with Sig 1 here, over here near Rapid City, and then up here in southwestern Dakota, which we had 10% up here, but looks like I think we actually kind of have a upgrade in some spots here for tornado threat technically, because there was a 2% here, but this got upgraded to a 5% with Sig 1 now for tornado threat potential for tornado threat here. And we still have that 2% here and between Kentucky and Tennessee, which we have the tornado warning ongoing between near Hopkinsville here, and then the one over near Monterey, Tennessee. So you have two tornado warnings, two cells that are tornado warned inside our tornado threat right now, and our 2%. And then here's our wind threat, which I'm not surprised that we still have this corridor of a 30% with SIG 2, considering we have already seen a couple of reports already of 80-mile-per-hour winds. And they did downgrade some of the area here from, I think this actually still technically 15, but then there was some areas that were to 30, but our hail threat is definitely much smaller than where it was at earlier, no doubt about that. There is still that SIG 1 5% on here for isolated hurricane force damage winds here in Texas. I actually see a corridor of damaging winds here. Okay, you know what? Let me zoom in real quick. See how bad this gets for a green screen. Actually, that's pretty decent. I just need to not zoom in super far. Actually, all right. So I definitely found at least a decent settings for the chroma key for the most part, at least. It's a little bit more sharper too. I don't know. That's probably I don't know how much. I don't know how much that's I don't know how noticeable that is from live streams, but see, we got a actually mesoscale discussion down here. Discrete supercell in northwestern Nebraska will pose a risk for all severe hazards over the next 1 to 2 hours. Hail, wind, and tornado risk. You actually see your photographs too, which I have curves on them. Let me actually check back up on our rotation on us, and yeah, that I mean, we have an area convergence in there. It's just a matter of if the cell actually takes advantage of the environment for the most part. News for this Wednesday for 7 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. That's be. Oh, this way, South Dakota. Well, Rapid City, North Dakota. North Dakota? South Dakota. Holy. I'm getting a lot of things mixed up today for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. Alright, we also no longer have any 20 warnings in both our Dakotas now. We just have ones in Kentucky and Tennessee. I can feel my throat getting dry. I need to take a drink of water in a second here. Alright, there we go. Good to go for now. Until my throat gets dry again. And then I have to take another drink of water. But yeah, I don't know why I am talking like this. Beep boop bop beep 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 bop. They are still continuing this tornado warning. I think we might have another little merger with this right here with this shower. Does it make me wonder if this is a case where, because I mean, according to this report, we did have a tornado, but it was rain wrapped. So this makes me wonder if we have a low preset like hook, but like the area that's rotating with our environment, it's like very rain wrapped tornado type environment down here. Wonder if I can what's the closest end on site to our storms? Wow, okay, that one right there. Oh, which one? Okay, some of these are like from way, way back. Like over an hour ago. 21 for both our 20 works actually for a half hour actually. What is this report? Did I read this one already or did I not? 86 mile per hour wind report. That was a 752. Is that Mosher? I think that was the one I read. Actually, yeah, that was the one I read earlier. Alright, new tornado warning has to be up in North Dakota. Alright, air rotation is gonna be right in here. Make its way northeast. Pull up a different tab here. OTUS project is nearest to this, but they're like probably right underneath where the mezzo is at. New Series 20 has for 6 mile per hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail. This is this right here. Also looks like they dropped the tornado policy on that. Looks like now on to sell in Nebraska. Actually, I just realized something. I realized the station times are in Mountain Time and not Central. I need to remember that North Dakota is in uh Mountain Time and not Central. So they're not an hour behind. They're actually, well, technically they are an hour behind for my time zone, but they're up to date. I already do my storm guess because there's because if you guys, oh, I mean, I don't know how many of you have heard and haven't heard of Wordle, but there's a someone made a storm version of that, and I don't remember if I did it or not already. I think I did, yeah. And all my guesses were pretty close for most part. Take a look at my all-time stats on this. Oh, I thought my clock was going off for a second, but nope. Looks like if we do have rotation, might be down here. Looks like in this low precip area here. Then we go over to, well, we're already looking at Kentucky. If we look at our storm over here in Tennessee, they did condense this one. Probably a weaker air rotation on this now. That'll probably just be led to expire out, if not cancel it out. And then our tornado warning in North Dakota, which is the most recent one. Still a broad area rotation. Did look like it was tighter earlier on earlier scans, but it does look like it's still rotating broadly, however. New surrender 20 SP for 6 mile per wind gust and quarter size hail. That's gonna be. Let's see here. That's probably gonna be. Issued by Glasgow, Montana. It's supposed to be this one right here. 6 mile per wind, quarter size hail. Take a look at the storm. If I can type the SPC's link here. So far, we've had, at least in terms of confirmed return ports, we've had the one up in North Dakota so far. Well, the one that's at least showed up on the Storm Prediction Center site. Which right now, in terms of wind reports, we're sitting at 98, 7 high wind, 24 hail, 3 of those being large hail. That's one thing I haven't made. Just usually I make I say usually, but sometimes I make shorts from my vlogs. I haven't made a short for my derecho vlog yet. And of course, I get a 1 minute ad. At least I can skip it though. Trying to get to the thingy. Well, I'm on my main account. I don't know why it's not letting me make a short out of this. Usually, they used to have a YouTube used to have a make a short button, but I guess not now. I don't know what they changed. But positive side, I can at least go through just finding actual, because I still have the actual video on my phone still, so I could just go through that and then upload it. All right, that is a go on that one. Oh, I just got the most random, like, like this random dizziness out of nowhere. New sphere dust wind speed 4, 6 mile point gust, and small hail. All right, new mesoscale discussion. - 75 to 90 mile per hour winds that they have for peak intensity. Ping pong to tennis ball size hail. And then tornado, they have 85 to 110. Risks for strong to severe wind gusts and perhaps tornadoes with evolving mesovortices through 9 to 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. checking on some of these the tornado warnings down here. Also, the severe dust warning here did get actually upgraded to 90. Actually, okay? Only one of these. Let me actually see which ones do have tornado pause. Okay, this one has tornado pause tag, and this one has tornado pause tag. This one does not. All right, there's no tornado warning in Kentucky now. So it looks like they're just probably gonna let the one in Kentucky, not Kentucky, Tennessee expire. If they don't end up just canceling it out, but we'll see. Otherwise, for the most part, we have still technically 2 ongoing tornado warnings with air rotation on this one over here in North Dakota, and then the one in Tennessee doesn't have any rotation on it. If there is, it's like very tiny area, but otherwise, the one up here in North Dakota is a lot more noticeable for rotation. Need water. Feel myself getting dizzy. Trying to check some other areas here. That looks like contamination over near Allen. South, not that's not in South Dakota. That's in North Dakota there. Although from the radar in Rapid City, it looks like rotation, but see, news for this one has to be for pickpocket size hail and 60 mile per winds. This is actually down in Texas, I think. Let's see. No, it's in North. That's in Nebraska. And there's actually is rotation on it. There was a if I click on it maybe there's a wall cloud port slowly rotating wall cloud approximately 7 miles to my west. And that would be your rotation here. And that's also making its way northeast as well. Alright, we no longer have that 20 warning in Tennessee now. Just the one in North Dakota. Alright, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Oh. Yeah, I think we have definitely the potential for something to produce out of the cell down here in Nebraska. Is there I don't know if there's tornado pots I can use. Nope, there's not. New street rush 20 SP for ping pong ball size hail 6 mile per hour wind gust. So we got another MCS type situation starting to form down here too in South Dakota. It looks like, and I'll probably eventually like converge with this here, and then from there we'll probably have one long line of storms. And then, okay, that's just wash that was down here, and Montana and Wyoming that was going on with the well, severe dust wash there. Holy rapid fire timeline update on Twitter. Another spiritless finds me up here in the very northern portion, northwestern portion of North Dakota. That's before some upper winds and quarter size hail. I do wonder what this looks like on Mosaic. All right, so this is what it looks like on the Mosaic here. So you can see our one MCS that's starting to develop, and then we have probably another one trying to develop here too. Almost looks like a loop with just a long echo wave pattern. Or a looping echo wave pattern, I should say. We'll see. All right, let me check back up on the tornado warning here. Probably some broad rotation. I mean, they might not extend it, but we'll have to see with the next couple minutes or so here. New wind report, 80 mile per hour winds. That's at the Manning. Well, the end on site near Manning. So keep an eye on this. Let me look at Jacob McMillan's stream here real quick. See what he's seeing. I mean, it seems like there's some kind of, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like some kind of lowering. It looks like it looks absolutely amazing out there. I will say it really does. I'm just kind of just looking between Storm Chaser feed and then also back at radar here. We got a new mesoscale discussion too, actually. That's gonna be holy wow. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be going till late tonight. Looks like. So risks for strong to severe wind gusts probably will continue into to 10:11 Central Daylight Time frame. So it's 8:49 p.m. So there'll be about 2 hour window, 1 to 2 hour window once we get to 9 o'clock. All right, I'm gonna turn off the discussions on here because I've been just pulling up the actual discussion on the side here rather than clicking on them here mostly. So we'll go with that for now. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have good Yeah, we're not gonna have a good radar coverage in the center here of South Dakota here because this is kind of an actually we'll have some view of the winds from Bismarck here, the radar on Bismarck, but other than that, it's not gonna have a good view, at least on this, in terms of velocities. Reflectivity will be able to see it, no doubt. Or at least what it looks like on reflectivity for the most part. And then we'll look at mosaic radar too, just to get the big picture. To say the most, say the least, most least. I don't know. All right, new severe this morning. That's gonna be in Nebraska. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and core size hail. This refresh the site. Water. All right, good to go for now. Again. All right, so far we've only had we've had tornado warnings quite a few times during the stream, but I don't think we've had, as far as I know, I don't think we've had any tornado warnings to observe today. I know we've had tornado reports for like brief tornadoes, but haven't had anything in terms of tornadoes that are like longer track or anything like that. Which today's been mainly a wind threat and hail threat too. Which I mean, I guess I'm not super surprised considering. I mean, I say June and July is normally months you see a lot of hail and wind events, but we did have that tornado. We actually had two tornado outbreaks, actually a couple of them, or at least ones that I can remember off the top of head right now. On the I think it was the 11th, and then I know on the 21st, which was the one on the 21st, which was on Father's Day, which I couldn't go live for. Yeah, okay, the 17th. Actually, 11th and the 17th both had tornado outbreaks, actually. And both those were moderate risk days, which the 11th was both wind and, well, technically the 11th, which was wind driven, technically with a 60% with SIG 1, but it did have a 15% with SIG 2. Let me take a look at Jacob McMillan's stream again, real quick. Because, as far as I know, he's the only one down there that's live. And there actually is a couple other ones, like Brandon Montgomery and Nick Smago down there. What about Radar Omega? I haven't checked Radar Omega in a minute in terms of Storm Chasers. So they got Stormrunner Media and then also Nathan Moore down there. Or I say down there, but up there because they're north of the storm that we're looking at here in Nebraska. And there was a new severe warning for 8-mile-per-hour wind gust and small hail, which is this one right here. Radar indicated, nothing confirmed. They didn't add any tornado pulse tag on it though. But I would say that we probably at least have some level of a tornado threat, at least in this section here. I did not know that was a thing. So I just I was this is from earlier today, but Bryce Young, um who storm chases with Paige. He took a picture of a burger, shrimp burger to be specific. And South Dakota has shrimp burgers. I mean, I guess whatever floats your boat in terms of what you want to eat, I guess, huh? I mean, if you want to eat a shrimp burger, you can eat a shrimp burger. I don't know. I don't know too many people that eat shrimp burgers, but hey, if it works, it works. I don't know. It looks like they are probably lying to 6 bar out, probably. Yeah. Because, I mean, they did issue the severe dust warning for 80 mile per hour wind, so that might be the only thing we're seeing, at least in this section here, that is going to be a continuation for, other than the severe wind threat, that might be the only thing in terms of, what we're going to see in terms of, like, severe threat right now out of this at the moment. Hold on a second. My allergies are kind of kicking my butt lately. Yesterday was completely fine. I don't know what is today. All right, we got also this 80 mile per hour wind severe dust warning here, which there is observed 80 as well, which I think might be this one, but this one's from 8:30. I don't know how recent. I don't know which one was most recent. Let me take a look here. Radar and okay, so this 80 mile per hour. Okay, which one? Okay, it's showing to me. No, both the 80s are observed, but this shows radar indicated on here. I don't know. Maybe it's just report that still continues as 80. Maybe that's what I'm guessing. Because I'm not sure. Because it has radar indicated on a thing, but wind is observed, so I don't know what's going on there. Let me take a look at this again here. Yeah, it doesn't even mention the specifics for the wind, observed wind. I'm kind of curious on this one though. Yeah, this one is radar indicated. It does show I have radar indicated on that one too. I don't know if I don't know if I showed the outlooks for tomorrow and Monday. But here is the slight risk for tomorrow. There is no, as of right now, there's no tornado threat outlined for tomorrow, but there is a wind and then also hail. Driven, it's mainly looks like a hail threat right now, but if we are talking about the wind threat, that's probably be the cases of if we get something in terms of a linear mode later in the evening, probably. I haven't looked at anything recent in terms of at least our convection allowing miles, like the HRRR for what it could look like for tomorrow. Which yeah, okay, that is an interesting picture of the HRRR showing here. So this is the HRRR, and this is simulated reflectivity, which will give you an idea what things will look like, but it's not exactly what is going to happen. Although looking at the HRRR here, I think we're actually from what at least what the HRRR is showing here, we're actually a couple hours ahead already of what the HRRR, because this is what it looks like right now, basically, and in real time. And then going into the overnight hours, that continues into rest of the Dakotas to our section down here in a section, the northern and the southern sections connect into one big MCS, and then that continues out towards east into Minnesota, but starts slowing down into Minnesota. Although it does look like we have this little complex here that the HRRR is showing that'll make its way into Illinois. That'll be looks like probably after some afternoon, depending if this actually does happen. There's some updraft Felicity tracks, which probably be some morning wind there. Maybe some isolated tornado in the morning, but otherwise, if we go into how far out does this go? I'm kind of curious. This does go into Monday actually. So the HRRR shows a big old cluster of storms going into the afternoon hours. From morning hours into the afternoon hours of South Dakota and North Dakota actually, specific, with storms, and then a little bit clock's going off. My clock's going off again with train noises because it just turned 9 o'clock. But yeah, this goes up to 23. Actually, it goes up to the 00Z on Monday here. And Monday, the slight risk, which if I go to that, this is what it looks like here. Which I have a feeling if we're not seeing anything here, I imagine we probably have a nocturnal threat, perhaps. Either that, or we have the case where we have capping issues. Let me actually take a look here. Let me take a look with some of the models here to get an idea what's going on. All right, I need to go over to Pivotal. And then go to 00Z, and then go to Regional, go to here. And then we'll go to Posit, get the exact same picture as on there, see what's going on. There's maybe a little bit of warm nose here, but there's just tiniest little warm nose here that the AAA is showing. Even the wrap showing that too. The NAM is actually showing a bit of there's a bit of a warm nose actually at the upper layers, and this is on the wrap and ARRR are pretty much kind of actually. I did take these in different locations technically, but they're pretty similar to what we can get idea across our area here for Monday, and it's probably a little bit warm in our mid levels here probably. And then the NAM is like warm nose at the lower levels. So I guess we'll see what happens on Monday. We'll have to look for our upper air soundings on Monday because I think that'll give us our full picture. What time do they do observations at? Okay, so in Minnesota, 12 UTC and I think 00, which is actually the normal times pretty much for that. All right, we know we're gonna have that tornado warning in place, so I can go ahead and take this off now. All right, and then it switches to that. All right, well, we for right now we don't have any tornado warnings, but definitely gonna be Definitely gonna be a damaging wind gust, which damaging wind gust threat. I would imagine we'll probably see a probably. I mean, I can see these continuing for a while. I imagine we're probably gonna see a severe dust watch at some point, which will be driven by well hail and wind, but probably mainly wind, if anything. Wait, I need to check my messages real quick. All right. Messages have been checked. Got a couple flash flood warnings out over here in Montana. Try to click on them. I gotta click on a severe dust warning. I'm guessing they have I don't know, call it like hierarchy or whatever of the different warnings, I guess. I should pick up on our cell down here in Nebraska while we're at it. It looks like it's perhaps I don't know what I just clicked. Oh, that's what I clicked. So I mean you can't see the sidebar anyways, but that makes it full screen with the tab button or tab key, I should say. Okay, I did not. Well, I think I looked at the keybinds for this. I looked at the keybinds for weather front, but I just never looked or I never used some of the keybinds, I guess. And then, let's see, that one's been confirmed. confirmed. This one's observed. Surprisingly, I'm guessing because it's only was a certain section. Because I don't know what the for at least for this, because I know on otherwise they'll show EDS or something if it's observed, but I guess it never added on there. It will show this is a destructive storm on Radar Omega though, so I'm not sure. Once again, one of the interesting things about radar apps and stuff. Something in my eye. New Spirit just waiting to see for golf plus sail, 6 mile per hour winds. Couple areas here. Area 1, area 2 to watch for in terms of tornado potential. Seems like our tornado potential is definitely gonna continue down here. Our northern half though is in question right now. I would say. And someone's firing off fireworks again. This is like the third night in a row. Although I think there's I know there's smoke close to my house. I know there's something that was going on where I live with like a fireworks show or something, but that's not for a little while still. Or what is this image I see? Okay, so like because it's that image, and it's just Amazon van parked on an angle in the middle of the street. What is going on there? I still got another 44 minutes on this. Well, let me check out this one. Okay, so that was going about for a half hour. This one's going for about 40 minutes on that one. Then we got new speedo swing. Interesting shape to it, which is this one down here in South Dakota. It's a speed for 6 mile per hour winds. You actually see your angle here on this. So yeah, this is kind of what you typically see for a MCS because you have your rear inflow jet pushing in on the backside of your MCS. And then in cases MCS, you can get wake lows. But that's like way after. It's on the like backside of the precipitation. Oh, hiccup. Check something real quick on this. Because this is the one area, at least, that has my eye in terms of a broad rotation, area rotation. Holy update sounds from weatherwise. I just heard a bunch of just like heard a boatload of update sounds go dong. And as soon as I was just talking about it, and there's more. Nice. Okay, that's just win. I'm like, let me check that real quick. And range holding issues over here. Not ideal. I'm surprised this is well, maybe it's let me actually let me check the upper tilt. That does look like rotate. I did not mean to go did not need to go to that high tilt. But that does look like something in there. At least. Although we are far from radar, so alright, new series that's one I see for 6 mile point gust and core size hail. And you got more storms actually. How far okay, I didn't realize it. Okay, this went back 12 hours. No wonder why the timeline's like that long. Jesus Christ. Also, I hope headphone users did not have their volume high with me doing that. Alright, while we're at it, I don't know. Well, actually, I'm not. I don't. That's one game I could do on stream with Stormcaster, so it doesn't like spoil any guesses and whatnot. And I came in and do my. I did mine this morning. Actually, it's available an hour, about hour and a half actually. Which I don't know. I don't know if I'll be that long for that long that tongue twisting. I don't know if I'll be long. I don't know if I'll be streaming for that long, but we'll see. February 2008. All right, so and this is tornado. Well, this is tornado portion of it. Where is this at? Oh, down here. Uh oh my god. This guess is going back all the way to 1905. I don't know any tornadoes that happened that far back. And I was so far off. 1985. Okay, that's a little bit closer. Ooh, I was close on that one. 2005. This is before the enhanced GSKL days. So August 18th, 2005. Oh, and I was supposed to say F3. I was thinking Plainfield, but no, that's I was an F5. Although I was very close with my guess. So there is that, I guess. And that's on the tornado version. That's on the tornado. I don't know how the tornado. I don't know how the. It's a bit of a tongue twist for me for some reason. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we get some extensions on the severe dose warnings in the moment. Probably, I would imagine. I don't know if we'll see 80 mile per hour wind severe dose warnings. Probably 70, maybe 67 mile per hour severe dose warnings, perhaps. We'll have to see though. I'll check notifications here real quick, see if we got anything new. The last time we had a mesoscale discussion was from about 40 minutes ago with the mesoscale discussion with the damaging wind threat in South Dakota, which there's now a special weather statement. So it looks like that's starting to wind down now. I would say for the most part, but that is starting to kind of wind down there. I would imagine probably for the same thing up here too. Although this is a little bit more bowed out, but we'll see. Trying to see if well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to get the most perfect view on this, but definitely at least. I mean, this section definitely got damage and Gus section here. This section here. I don't know what that shape was. What I drew there. It was like a broken rectangle. Although what I'm seeing from the MRMS, because this is instant rotation, there's the that's actually updated 2 minutes ago. There's some strong velocities that's being picked up here. Looks like. As there hasn't been any new severe warnings issued yet, but my guys are holding off for a little bit before issuing some new ones. What is going on with the skin underneath my finger here? That was a update to a severe thunderstorm warning, I would think. So I still feel like we still have a tornado threat potential on some of these down here in Nebraska. These ones have just these ones have been just like kind of just, I mean, good thing, but they've been kind of struggling to get that said threat going. Been mainly wind and also hail. New severe dust warning, and they did end up actually issuing a severe dust watch, and yeah, kind of what I figured, mainly for wind. Some hail threat though with that too. That's going on until 4 in the morning with a severe dust watch, and then we have a severe dust warning. That's be for 7 mile per hour winds. Let's see. I don't. I mean, they usually don't make a mesoscale discussion sometimes for watches, but like especially for severe doctrine watches. But oh well. Um, we get to look at the information on this, see what's going on with the organized thunderstorms, severe storms moving across western North Dakota as forecasts continue eastward. Strong to severe gusts are primary hazard with this line. It moves through central North Dakota. Some isolated large hails also possible. Ample level of shear suggests a low probability of risk for a brief line embedded tornado also exists. So brief tornadoes are possible, but mainly damaging winds. And I would imagine we'll probably see a severe dust watch for down here too at some point. Maybe. Although I have more confidence in. Well, I mean, we just got a severe dust watch here, so I was about to say I would have more confidence up here having a severe dust watch, but we have a severe dust watch up here. Down here, maybe 50-50 for our severe dust watch. We'll see. But the storms are kind of becoming disorganized. Maybe in this section here, we'll see a severe dust watch, perhaps. We'll see. And they also did downgrade from 80 to 70 on this one. That severe dust warning should be expiring at some point too, with this 80 mile per hour severe dust warning. Others, for the most part, seems like our tornado threat is. I mean, it's not zero, but it is pretty low at this point now. And we'll be mainly looking at wind for the rest of tonight, for the most part. All right. Once this 80 mile per hour severe dust warning expires out, do a quick rundown of what we could be looking at for the next couple days and whatnot. And yeah, we'll go from there. And nose is itching. News 20 has the for 7 per winds and nickel size hail be up here. That is actually observed 70 as well. News, and then there's the news for destroying for this one down here too, which is 7 upper winds. And then they also are continuing the tournament pause Saigon, I think, yeah. Seems like there might be some rotation on this section here. Okay, we are up to date on scans. Latest reflectivity came in. Still waiting on velocities. Okay, velocities have come in. It still seems like there's a little bit of something in there. Although it's not the most impressive hook ever there. If that's indeed trying to hook. Let me look at the MRMS. Yeah, that's indeed a rotation. At least from what I'm seeing there. But anyways, we'll kind of do a segue out here. So let's go over to here. So this is the analysis. So start out with our outlook. So here is tomorrow's outlook, which right now we have a wind and hail threat for tomorrow in North and South Dakota and Minnesota as well. And no, as of right now, there's no tornado threat highlighted, but we'll have to see if that changes or not. Maybe not, but mainly wind and hail for tomorrow. I would expect Monday's threat to change quite a bit within the next couple outlooks. I would maybe we'll see a 5% somewhere in here. Wind and hail being the main threats again. Maybe we'll have to see a categorical. Let's see. While details remain very moist, depending on music skills, all hails or severe risk could develop. Damage wind and large hail appear most likely at this time. Given uncertainties, outlook changes are modest with this time, which that was from earlier today. So, and then here is our outlook with our hurricane, which the last time this was updated last at there we go. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, which was 7 p.m. Central, and yeah, still 20% there. Take a look at our one at the Pacific here, which I think is still the same from what it was at earlier. Yeah. And then looking at to kind of just wind pattern, and then there's our trough for Monday and into Tuesday, which we have this troughing going on, and then from there, we'll probably see some severe weather events within the next couple days along the probably Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday and Friday, maybe. But right now, probably Tuesday and Wednesday will be our next couple of severe weather days after Monday. But yeah. Anyways, guys, have multiple ways to get alerts. Stay safe out there, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Which we'll have to see what Monday looks like. Which there's a chance I'll be live Monday, so I'll let you know what goes on Monday for in terms of a stream at least. So yeah, anyways, see you in the next one.